So this is a Lunar Alaria TR. I'm going to take you around the van and show you how it operates. Front of the van, you've got the hitch, jockey wheel and handbrake. That's something we'll send over in a separate video to you. We've got the gas connected at the front of the van. As you can see, we've just took it for demonstration purposes. So we've got the gas valve on top for turning on. So as you can see, this is turn on. Gas pipe work going to the regulator on the van at the top there, which is a changeover valve, so you can have two bottles on the van at the same time connected. You just have to turn this valve around, as you can see here, to change over which bottle you are using. There is also a little valve at the top which goes green when the gas is turned on to indicate that there is still gas pressure or gas in the system. Coming down this side of the van, you've got all your heating flue for the wet central heating, so that's the gas flue essentially like you've got on the side of your house. Got the water pump connection just here, so you'd need to fill the aqua roll completely up, pull the blue tab back to push the water pump into the side of the van, which will be in the front locker, and then you'll drop the water pump end into the actual aqua roll itself. Then got the battery box and mains power lead connection coming to the van, as you can see. So we've got power connected up and we've got a 110 amp leisure battery on board as well. The motor mover and wheel nuts. The wheel nuts will be torqued before the Caravan leaves site. They'll be done in front of you so you know they've been tightened correctly, and the motor mover you'll see demonstrated at the end of this video. Top tank here is a toilet flush tank which you'll need to open up and fill with 3.5 litres of water and a cap full of the pink fluid before use. In the bottom here we have the toilet waste cassette, which you release by pulling up the orange handle and pulling the cassette towards you. The neck that you see here is what you turn out to empty the waste away. The cap is what I refer to for the cap of the fluid. And the orange button on the back is a pressure relief, so when you're tipping the waste away, it doesn't spit and splatter back at you. So you press the button in as you're tipping the waste away. The water that goes in the front has to come out somewhere, and that's what these two pipes are here for. And they are your waste pipes. So that's the grey water from the sink and the shower. Not the toilet system, as you know, that's in there. So you put the two grey pipes into position in the two holes around the outside here, and then put them down into the waste master itself. The back of this van, you've got a storage locker to access the storage underneath the bed. The legs are down, and again later on in this video you'll see a clip from one of our engineers talking to you about how to put the self-levelling into action. Then got another storage locker on this side of the van so you can access the storage at the rear. You've got your two fridge vents on the side of the Caravan also, and they are for letting the hot air out the side of the fridge unit. You've got a 240 amp power socket that comes out from the power inside of the van, so if you've got an awning up, for instance, you can have an external fridge or light into your awning. You've got a wet locker at the front of the van, so if you've got anything that's damp at all, you can put wet items in there, like bits of boots or jackets, for instance, if you didn't want it inside the van. And then you've got your external barbecue gas point on the front of the van also. Going inside the van, I'm just going to pull the door shut as we go inside. So above the door, you've got your main controls. This control panel here, I'm going to ignore. That will be discussed with you and demonstrated to you during the section on the self-leveling. That is simply for that. You've got your Audi control panel here for your heating and hot water, which I'll go through in a moment. And this black screen that you see here, when you tap it, comes live. And you've got your options for the Caravan. So as you can see, we've got master power plugged in and the power is turned on. So that's your power on and off for the Caravan. Internal lighting, awning light, lighting dimmers, so you can set the adjust the dim or the brightness of the lights. Your water pump run, which I'll come back to in a moment. You've got your fresh water level, and then you've got your battery charge rates as well. So first thing we're going to do is, as we've got water connected to the outside of the van, is come over to every tap on the Caravan. You'll actually notice that I've already got water connected, so as you can see, water coming out of the system. But what we're going to do is you're going to open all the taps up on the hot side to bleed the water system. So that's the tap on the sink in the bathroom and the shower also. You're going to make sure the yellow drain down valve underneath the seat on the right hand side of the van at the front is in the parallel with the floor position, which is just there, that you can just about see. I do apologise for the light, there's not much light underneath the seat. So the yellow valve that you can see will need to be parallel with the floor to be able to turn the water pump on and fill the water system. So all the taps open, as I said, on the hot side, and the yellow valve parallel with the floor. If you wanted to drain the water system down, you would need to flick that valve up so it's pointing upright towards the bottom of the seat itself. So once you've got that valve shut and you've got all the taps open, you'll actually need to go to the control panel above the door, go to settings, and press fill tank. As it's already full, it's not going to allow me to do that, but you'd press the tank fill, and you'd have to fill the onboard water tank with all the taps open to bleed the water system completely. Now, I would advise that you keep an eye on the aquaroll water level on the outside so it doesn't start drawing air up into the water system. And once that tank is filled, it will automatically cut off and stop filling the tank. Once you've got the tank full and all the water's coming out of the taps, you'll need to come over to this switch here. Shut all of the taps on the hot side once you've got water coming continuously out of each tap, and then turn on the internal water pump. So when I open up the tap, it will then turn on and start pressurising the water system every time you open the tap. You'll notice the water pump runs for a few seconds after you've turned the tap off, just to fill up the water system again that you've used from the onboard water tank. So that is your water system filled and ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is start warming the water on board the Caravan. Now you've got power on and off for this control panel here. Most people leave them on. You've got menu, which you're going to need to go into. The top one here is your internal room temperature, which you've got plus and minus on to control the temperature of the van. So minus or plus. Goes all the way up to 30 degrees on there. Below that, you've got water temperature. So you've got water off when this bar is completely empty. You've got water on, and then you've got water boost when the bar is completely full of black, essentially. When it's halfway down, like I said, that is just water on, so it will just keep the water at a warm temperature ready to be used. Below that, you've got the amount of power that you have coming into the Caravan from the site you are on. So as you can see here, 1 kilowatt of power we have at the moment turned on. You can, however, go to 2 or 3 kilowatts also. To ignite the water system or heating system on gas, you can press the button here, and that will turn on the gas supply to the heating and hot water. The green light indicates it has ignited, and if for any reason it failed to ignite on gas, it would actually come up with gas fail along the bottom of the screen here. And that is as simple as the control panel gets. There is some advanced settings in here, which if you read the manual for the Caravan will explain those in more details. However, if I was to go through them in the video, it'd probably take me 3 hours to do a video each time. Next up, I'm going to show you that the gas systems are working on board the Caravan. So you've got the hob here. So that's the hob ignited. And that is your hob ignited and working. The electric ring at the back there is a little bit harder to demonstrate, but I can assure you it has been tested in our workshop and it is working as it should. Next thing we're going to go to is the grill. I'm going to ignite the grill on gas for a few moments just so you can see that it has ignited. I don't know if you could hear there, but it has ignited. As you can see, is lit as you'd expect. Next up is the oven. As you can see, the oven again is ignited and burning as you'd expect to see. Extractor works a bit like your household extractor. So you've got extractor on and extractor on high on the control panel is here. So extractor high and extractor low. Then you've got your lighting for the control for underneath just there. We're going to go to the fridge next, which is very simple to use. Power on. Mains power, as you can see, and temperature control. For the fridge, the higher you go, the colder the fridge will be. Gas operation. It will self-ignite on gas. If it failed to ignite on gas, it actually flash the red light on this side to indicate it has failed. If If you're towing with the car and you want to use the fridge as a cool box to get the tonic water nice and cold for the G&T or the beer when you get on site, you can actually set it to 12 volt mode, which will only work from the power supply on board the car. That won't work from the 12 volt battery on board the Caravan. It doesn't have enough power from that, but like I said, the cool box would work as a fridge at that point. Toilet system in the bathroom, again, very simple to use. Electric flush up on top here. And then you've got your flap here to allow the waste to go into the toilet set underneath the van. Do advise when you've finished using the loo that you shut the toilet flap back up so it doesn't allow smells into the Caravan. The next thing I'm going to demonstrate to you is the motor mover system on board the Caravan, and that will be the last part of the video that I will do. Once that has been done, the engineers will take over and they will demonstrate to you the self-leveling on board this Caravan. So to operate the motor movers, you're going to need the motor mover control, as you can see here. As it's an automatic engage, you'll only need the controller and the red power key that's inside locker. So you're going to need to turn that red power key through 90 degrees so it turns on. You're then going to turn on the controller itself with the two green buttons, as you can see, so I press both of these at the same time. We're then going to press the central button and the one with the green arrow on this side, which will engage the motor mover against the wheels. And as you can see, that has done all four motor movers at the same time. Go around the other side, show you it's engaged around the other side. So again, as you can see, all four movers are engaged. You'll then release the handbrake at the front of the van. And then in theory, when I press the buttons, you've got the A-frame at the front here, which is the front of the Caravan. The Caravan will go forwards. Backwards. You'll have your turns. Turn. Reverse turn, so it will turn backwards at the same time. And the same on the opposite side. If you want to spin the Caravan through 360 degrees, you can press the two buttons opposite each other, and at that point the Caravan will turn on the spot, as you can see. Once you're done with the mover, you'll turn the controller off. See the green, we'll leave the controller on. We'll pull the handbrake back on. Press the middle button and the one with the red arrow to disengage the movers. Well, I can press them at the same time. Which, as you'll see now, they are disengaging. Movers will stop and then they'll adjust themselves ready for the next use, which will take a few seconds after they've stopped moving. And at that point, when they've stopped moving and the controller light has stopped flashing at the bottom, you can turn the remote off and turn the power off in the side locker. That will isolate the power to the movers itself. As I said, the next part of the video you'll see is one of our engineers demonstrating to you how the self-leveling works. If you have any further questions though, after you've watched all of this video and the following part that's come after this, please do give us a call here at the Caravan Company and we'll be more than happy to help. Thank you very much. Bye bye.
Okay, we're going to make a video of the self-leveling system for future reference and should the customer ever need this. So, first thing we do is turn the system on. Once we turn the system on, this screen here powers up. Just give that a moment. Just before you're about to auto leg, it's a good thing to check the jockey wheel. Caravan needs to be quite low at the front. You'll see why in a moment. Okay, the panel takes a while. There we go. Now, I'm going to press leveling, and that's going to bring us up some options. First option I want you to press is auto level. Now it's going to ask you if your jockey wheel is 3 inches below level. To be honest, as long as it's below level, it doesn't have to be precise. So we're going to press enter just to show that we are. Then it's going to ask us again, just to make sure if the jockey wheel is in the right position. I'm going to press enter again. It would help if I actually press it. There we go. Now the leveling is going to start. Lots of beeping and whirring going on at the moment. Everything's in order, there's nothing to worry about. Again, it's asking us for verification of jockey wheel. I mean, if the jockey wheel isn't down and the legs drop, then obviously you're going to end up with the front end on the floor, so I understand why they're asking so many times. Takes a few minutes. Auto level success. Now all the legs should be down, Caravan should be level. That's how you get them down. So now let's talk about retracting them. Okay, so at the end of your holiday, this screen's probably going to be blank, so you would go through the turn on procedure again, because after you've used this system it goes into automatic shutdown. So once the system's open again, it's very simple. We select down one to auto retract. And I'm just going to talk about this manual mode while we're here actually. Manual mode is, so if you're struggling to get the legs up for any reason, then you can manually override the whole system and bring the legs up this way. It's very interesting piece of information, hopefully. And so let's go back to auto track. Then we press the enter bar at the side. It's asking us that the jockey wheel manual tow board to within. We can't do that at the moment because the legs are down, so therefore we can't lower the Caravan. So we'll just press enter, and straight away you can hear the legs retracting. I think it retracts the rear jacks first, and then it will ask us again about the tow board, the jockey wheel being down, before it decides to release the front end. There we go. Verify the jockey wheel is on the ground. Now you don't really want to raise these legs without checking this jockey wheel, because if you haven't put it down, for example, and it's rather than being here, it's actually right up here under the chassis where it usually lives when you're not using it, and the whole Caravan's going to drop on its front end. So it's always worth getting out to check and not just presuming. So we've just checked it, we can verify now the front legs are raising.